After days of searching for a great blue heron, 2 were spotted at this old quarry turned lake in Indiana. Come along as we observe their intriguing behaviors. Here is our first great blue heron. It is stationed on a man-made raft, which it uses as a hunting platform. As the heron waits for prey to approach, it sunbathes. The intense heat radiation from the sun kills any mites inside of its feathers. Now the heron begins to preen its steel blue feathers. Every few seconds, something seems to catch the heron's attention, causing it to snap its head up. It returns to the preening process to remove any fish oil, scum, or slime from its feathers. Here's the second great blue heron that's chosen to be on shore to escape the wind and the heat from the sun. It's currently creating powder down by nibbling off the tips of its downy feathers into a fine powder. The herons are far apart because all great blue herons hunt alone. When the herons glide their bills along their feathers, they're preening by rubbing in the downy powder. It curves its gaze downward as it spots movement in the water. Great blue herons can overheat if they're in the sun too long, so they open their mandibles slightly and pant, just like a dog would. As we pan over to the second heron, we can see it standing on one leg and scratching its head. It's using the pectinated claw on its middle toe that has a comb-like structure to preen all the areas unreachable by its bill. This is known as tall alert display. Prey in the water has caught its eye. Herons are incredibly patient hunters. They stand as still as statues until a source of food passes by. Fish make up most of their diet. Right now, this heron is using the flexibility of its long neck to horizontally preen the upper breast and lower neck feathers, known as egrets. Meanwhile, the other heron is standing straight up with a raised crown. Raising its crown is one way for the great blue heron to threaten something in the distance. It could also be used to attract mates, but not in this instance because mating season has already ended. The second heron is still preening away, which is typical of them. They spend most of their waking hours preening. A heron normally marks the end of a preening session with a little shake. You can see this happen at the end of the clip as it waggles its tail. As the herons continue to preen, they're not only cleaning their feathers to keep them in tip-top shape, but they're helping to regulate their body temperature. The heron snaps into tall alert. Something has caught its attention. It begins to slowly move the rest of its body towards the same direction as its head and begins a complex display dance. It starts by entering the forward stance, with its head tucked back, one wing out, and one leg extended. It enters snap display, gives 3 croaking row 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 calls, then extends into upright display with erected neck plumage. The second heron remains completely unfazed. There is a large group of people swimming across the lake that I think provoked the heron. It uses the same scratching method with its middle toe acting as a comb to clean its head and bill. As it does so, it puffs up its crest. The heron looks over in my direction every once in a while, but doesn't react, so they must not feel too threatened. Because the great blue heron has a large concentration of rod cells in its eyes, it has incredible vision for hunting its prey. They can even see well in the dark, allowing them to hunt during the day and the night. Something catches the heron's attention again. It nearly goes into tall alert, but decides to pursue preening instead. The other heron continues to preen on the edge of the lake. This heron is displaying its egrets again, perhaps as a territorial display. They have to slightly open their wings to preen underneath. Did you catch the tail waggle? This is another great shot of neck preening. You can really see the great blue heron pull out the downy feathers to create the powder down. The heron just dove in for a catch. Don't be fooled by their slow movements, because they can snag a fish in less than a second. It shakes out any water from its body, head, and tail before swallowing the fish whole. If this was a bigger fish, the heron would have to straighten its neck out to get it into the gular pouch, but this one is small enough that it can keep its neck curved. After eating, the heron cleans its bill off in the water. Herons don't typically swim to hunt. They normally wade in water with their long legs. It continues to shake out water by puffing up its feathers, flapping its wings, and twisting its neck vigorously. Finally, it relaxes its feathers back down. It scratches its face on the side of the raft to finish cleaning any lake grease or muck from its bill. Shaking its head helps to fling any excess grime off. The heron is working to digest the fish it just ate. It turns and slowly walks away as it looks for its next prey to stalk. People are rustling and talking in the forest, which has caught the heron's attention. The heron tilts its head so one eye faces the sky. This often signals that they have spotted a potential threat in the sky. The other heron is shaking off too, as if it just came from the water. They are such swift hunters that it's easy to miss them make a catch. It's targeting something on shore, likely a food source. Herons aren't only expert fishermen, they eat frogs, snakes, and small mammals on land. Both herons are focused on the forest. The heron has to reach full extension to preen this part of its neck. Any higher and it has to scratch using its toe. Wow, the heron just launched off into a circle flight display. You can tell from its extended neck. It is charging after an intruding heron that has its head tucked in the standard flight position. Perhaps this is what it looked up at and saw earlier. This is a territorial move. Both are heading towards the heron on shore that doesn't seem to be reacting. The intruder retreats to the trees above that heron on shore, while the original heron circles back. Its head is now retracted in the relaxed tucked-in position. The heron is about to glide for a second. The glide seems to help it slow down for its landing in the trees. The heron on shore doesn't react. It must not feel threatened or up to challenging. About a week apart, more herons were spotted along a river in Indiana. This one is neither hunting from a man-made raft or on shore, but from a flooded island. It's allowing the mallards to get so close as it doesn't find them to be a threat. It won't let the ducks distract it from its hunt. For the last piece of footage, we've documented a great blue heron using the river to navigate. It gently flaps its wings up to 20 to 30 miles per hour. Many herons actually stay in Indiana year-round, which is good news for us. That means more observations of their majestic behavior to come. Thanks for coming along on this one.